This is Gary Atensi with CNTV. Today we're in Denver, Colorado. We're at brainspark Media. I am here with George, who's the founder and owner. George, basically since 2005, you've been providing a great service for folks here as well as nationwide. Let me ask you, we're talking about a full-service digital agency. What got you started in this?
Originally, I started doing similar work in the printing and graphic design field, and about a few years into my career started more on the digital with the trends that were happening in the internet and the web. Made that move in roughly 1998. Worked for a couple of people around town, and then started this company in 2005.
Excellent. And you guys basically, it's kind of hard to put your finger on what you guys do because you do quite a bit. I mean, you're not simply a design firm. You're not basically a software designing. You basically have a whole package that people can benefit from. So let me ask you, let's start from the beginning. How important is it, that first strategic planning, that consultation with the client? What goes on there?
That's a critical step. In fact, that's where we invest a lot of our time. So we always find it beneficial to spend an adequate amount of time, depending on the scale and scope of the project, to develop an appropriate strategy, understand the client's business goals, as well as also having some insight into what their customers or their users, what their interests or priorities are, and then we try and design and build a business solution around that.
Speaking of a business solution around that, you guys are basically able to take companies out there that have, let's say they've got their image already, everything's set up, you're able to bring that to the World Wide Web, get it out there so it's consistent and pretty much gets the message across. Are you able to do that through surveys online, or how do you know the users are getting around well?
Varies from project to project depending on budgets, time, the client's priorities, but at minimum we always try and spend at least a moderate amount of time understanding what the customer's users come to the website or whatever the marketing pieces we're putting together for them, what they're coming there to accomplish, and then we try really hard to put the adequate amount of analysis in it to make good decisions around how we present messaging and content and tools via somebody's website. Or
so we're talking messaging and content. If you've got a new company out there, I imagine you work with companies that are basically trying to rebrand themselves, do something different, or brand new right out of the go, they want you involved, which is obviously the best way to do it. Let me ask you, tell me some of the creative design that you guys are able to do for them.
In rare cases where it's a brand new company, as you mentioned,
yes,
we will start with branding and identity. But more times than not, that's already in place with an existing company and they come to us. So we work really hard to incorporate existing brand requirements or the brand's personality into the pieces we put together for them. So we'll design around that.
Wonderful. What you guys are able to do is you basically are able to incorporate that into the user interface as well and make sure that content is everything that they want to put out there to the public. Is that right?
That's correct. And in some cases we do projects that are strictly interface design, where another third party or the company's IT department perhaps may have developed some software, but they know they really lack the intelligence or the strategy behind the user experience, and that's somewhere where we really excel and can help a company take it to the next step and design around users.
If folks out there basically don't know what to put on their sites, what content to put, I mean, you do the whole 9 yards. You do the copywriting form if that's what they require, and are you able, obviously because your background, able to blend that into printed pieces as well?
That's correct. We do less print than we do interactive, but we all have print backgrounds, myself included. We have some tremendous copywriters we work with, and we'll bring them into various projects. Some cases the client has those resources, so we'll just collaborate with their team, and in others we actually bring one of our copywriters in to take the client's messaging framework, and then we'll polish it so that it blends nicely with everything else we're doing, and it complements the design and any other marketing initiatives that are behind that particular campaign.
Wonderful. And so we're talking about once they come in for the consultation, sit down with you guys, you spend a lot of time on that front end deciding what it is they're trying to portray and convey out there, and then once that strategic plan is placed, you go on and put this together in a user interface. To me, as I'm looking at a lot of the work you guys have done, it's all about the user. You guys make sure that this person's not going to a place or a site where they are not experiencing something. They're actually getting involved, getting down deep and dirty. Is that right?
That is correct. And sometimes that actually conflicts with what people come into the projects telling us they want to accomplish. So we're always advocating for the user. That's almost always our first and foremost recommendation. So obviously the clients or the marketing department or the sales team is equally important, but generally speaking, we're typically defending the interests and needs of the users, because all of those are more times than not the customers and
Absolutely.
the people who are there supporting that particular business entity.
I think that's great because of the fact that I come in as a business owner, I know what I want to put out there, I know what content I want to deliver to them, and you're sitting there telling them, hey, let's make it fun, let's make it something they want to come back and do, and let's make it something they enjoy doing. So once we've got that look, if you will, that design, that identity that you're putting out there for them, then you've got that whole back end. Tell me about the technology you guys are able to do on that back end as far as the database and everything that goes on behind the scenes.
Sure. So kind of counterintuitive, but typically design drives function from our perspective. So we design around the business goals of the client and their users, and then we build the functionality behind that to support it. So we do everything from custom development. Historically, for years, we've worked in the ASP.NET, the Microsoft platform, but we also these days work quite extensively with things like WordPress and PHP, and occasionally we'll dabble into some other technologies, but we've tried really hard to stay focused on a limited number so that we can focus our energies and expertise in those particular disciplines.
So all that content on the back end, you guys actually will do some content management for them if that's needed. What about in the way of e-commerce? Are you able to touch on that as well?
Sure. The first question, we do a little bit of both. So we build content management tools for clients, and typically that's driven by frequency. So if it's something they know they need to change on a regular basis, they don't necessarily need to call us. They can typically log into the back end of their website and make routine updates on a regular basis. They might lean on us for more substantial updates, such as design changes or things that are a little out of their comfort zone. And we also serve as an extension of their marketing department in many cases, where they're just really busy or people are on vacation. They can call us up and we can take care of whatever they need done on a day-to-day basis.
Excellent. And so obviously a little bit different than it was just 10 years ago anymore. A client needs something that's good on the web, but they also need mobile. People that are able to use these smartphones and basically get at them. Are you able to do that type of thing?
Absolutely. In fact, it was not too long ago that mobile was kind of a second or afterthought to most of our clients, and now that typically drives most of the discussions. And the way that the technology's evolved, we can actually kind of kill two birds with one stone and design things that don't require separate attention for mobile compliance. We can actually design things that look great on a desktop environment, but also function in like a responsive design is the terminology that's used now, where the design can adapt depending on the device that's accessing the content.
Wonderful. Folks, if you notice our website is at the bottom of the screen right there, what you're going to find on that website is obviously a real savvy group of folks down here. I mean, basically to be on the team, you got to get the spark. You've got to get something in your mind that you're going towards that end goal of really creating something for the end user out there. Once they have everything in place, they got the identity, the whole site set up, everything's there. I love what you said, George, about you'll be the extension of their marketing department. Let's say there's someone out there, a viewer, who doesn't have a marketing department. They've got this great site now, and can they bring you on as a digital marketing? Tell me what you got in the way of SEO, as far as Facebook, social media, that type of thing.
Sure. So we have an internal team that focuses primarily on the user experience, design, development. We also have some internal folks that can provide some of the marketing support as well. And then we have a long-standing relationship with a number of partners who can bring a higher level of expertise for projects or campaigns that dictate a more extensive or longer-term marketing strategy behind them that complements what we can do through the browser or through a mobile device.
You guys seem to really love a challenge when you come and do your work. I mean, obviously you love your work, you love to play. You guys are the work hard, play hard kind of team that folks are looking for out there that make things happen. And let me ask you, you're award winning. Share with me one of your most recent awards that you guys have received.
Most recently, for a redesign we did for GOI, their corporate site, and we do a number of projects with them. In fact, we're about to start yet another redesign of their corporate site, but last year's update was intended to provide some more mobile compliance for their website, and that particular project won an award, the Summit Creative Award, for late 2011. So we're pretty proud of that, and we're about to take on that task again to rebuild their image gallery, which showcases the satellite imagery that they take around the world. And most of us have probably seen, and we may not even know it. They're frequently featured in news stories and whatnot, particularly with natural disasters and military activities, but they also provide some phenomenal imagery for the environmental and government agencies that just surveying the land and whatnot.
I mean, obviously, you guys have some big names that you basically have trusted you with their image. You're talking about Pentax, Arapahoe Basin, Colorado, Hyde Park, GOI, Top School, just to name a few. Is there a business out there that basically is too small to work with you, or do you have something for everyone?
Not necessarily. We work with, as you mentioned, a wide range of clients, from startups to mom and pop type local businesses, and everything in between, up to McKesson Health, who's a Fortune 15 company and a massive company around the world. So our criteria is there. We do have some criteria we apply to who we engage with, and typically, broadly speaking, that criteria is a project that we're passionate about because it's something that resonates with us, be it Arapahoe Basin, and we were all big skiers and snowboarders, or a particular challenge that a project brings, trying to solve a significant problem on a client's behalf. But more than anything, we're looking for clients that we can build a long-term relationship with. There are very few projects we've done where we just walk away and we never hear from somebody. Our most steady and best relationships are the ones where we are, as you mentioned earlier, we are an extension of their team, and they value what we bring to the table, and we value them as a client, and we can work together to accomplish not just one project, but build upon that success and continue to help support them over a long period of time.
Over a long period of time, we got a team out here that's going to support you and serve you. If you've got a business out there that basically needs rebranded, needs re-identified, or basically you're just starting out, any part of the facet along the game out there where these folks can come in, use their expertise, and like George says, their passion. I mean, these guys are passionate about what they do down here, and so just remember, it's basically less pomp and more circumstance.
That's correct.
And this is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.